This breaking news, Judge Mershon pointing out that on the state Facebook page that in fact somebody who claims to be the cousin of one of the jurors the day before the verdict comes in actually said Trump's getting convicted. Uh-oh. Cause for mistrial? In any court of law, that has to be cause for a mistrial.
This could easily be a prank.
It was. Well, this is embarrassing. MAGA Republicans are so desperate to undermine and delegitimize the judicial system on behalf of their cult leader, convicted felon Donald Trump, that many of them, including Fox propagandist Sean Hannity and Republican Senator Mike Lee, fell for an obvious prank by an even more obvious internet troll, and we have to talk about it. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several clips to play in this video, and this is sad and funny in equal parts. It just goes to show how far the Republican Party has fallen, how it's mutated and devolved into this cult of personality where even the likes of Mike Lee, it's not just Sean Hannity, but somebody like Mike Lee, a Republican senator, a celebrated attorney, a celebrated debater, where they forfeit their critical thinking skills on the altar of Donald Trump's cultishness. It's really gross. So we're going to play these clips and unpack all of this together. But yeah, Republicans en masse fell for an obvious prank by an obvious troll, and it's so ridiculous.
This breaking news, Judge Mershon pointing out that on the state Facebook page that in fact somebody who claims to be the cousin of one of the jurors the day before the verdict comes in actually said Trump's getting convicted. Uh-oh. Cause for mistrial?
We're going to explore it more with other clips, but that's basically nutshell. Somebody on New York's official Facebook page said that, hey, I'm a cousin of the juror, and he says tomorrow Trump is going to be found guilty. And so you can already predict where this is going. Sean Hannity and others run with this saying, okay, this was proof that the jury was not true to their oaths. This is ground for a mistrial because this is politically motivated, and they were leaking this information to others when they should be sequestered. But again, I'll let Hannity and others kind of, dig their own grave, so to speak.
Now, the post in question reads the following, quote, "My cousin is a juror. He says Trump is getting convicted. Thank you, folks, for all of your hard work." The post was published the day before the verdict on Wednesday, May 29th. In the letter, Mershon did not indicate whether this post was valid or if the courts are investigating the matter, but this is by far a very, by any level, an alarming development. We're going to have Greg Jarrett, Mike Huck.
Greg Jarrett, of course, being a Fox News legal analyst, and we're about to play his clip here in a second, too, because he says just some ridiculous things. So, yeah, the presiding judge, Judge Mershon, made both the prosecutors and defense aware of this Facebook post, and it didn't opine, listen, we're looking into it. It's a hoax. It's like, basically, listen, this was brought to our attention. You need to know, especially as sentencing, is scheduled for July. This is something that, the defense may want to use as the basis for an appeal, okay? But what's interesting is, again, just how far the Fox propaganda network, it's not just them, we'll get to some others as well, ran with this thing. A couple more clips.
Let me ask you, Mike Huckabee, what about Judge Mershon telling both the prosecution and Todd Blanche, the president's attorney, about the New York case, that they became aware of this Facebook page post? "My cousin's a juror. Trump is getting convicted. Thank you, folks, for all your hard work." Let's assume, Governor, that's true. In any court of law, that has to be cause for a mistrial. Thoughts?
Absolutely has to be. I mean, this whole case stunk as bad as you thought it could. Now it smells like a 3-week garbage strike in August in New York City on the streets.
All right.
So again, notice that, Hannity's, the woman here, that the Hannity's guest is shaking her head like, oh, and just in indignant, disgust, like, oh, I can't believe this is going on. You have Mike Huckabee, former governor, a former Republican presidential candidate, saying, oh, this stinks even more. Again, absolutely no critical thought whatsoever, just taking the whole thing at face value without any sort of investigation, any sort of application of critical thinking. Yeah, I just really want to drive this point home. Another clip.
Oh, absolutely. If it is true, and that's a big if, but if it is true, it is grounds to vacate the conviction and order a new trial. I think, what this judge needs to do is appoint an independent, impartial officer of the court to conduct an investigation. That may include subpoenaing Facebook to identify who this person is who posted it, because the message indicates that a juror spoke with a relative about the case. Now, jurors are admonished at the outset of the trial. You're not allowed to talk to your wife, your spouse, anybody about this case.
And again, indeed, that would be a problem. And this guy is already wanting like a full-blown investigation. We'll get to it in a second. But again, not just members of right-wing media. You also have people like Republican Senator Mike Lee, who has disgraced himself over the past several years in the Trump era, as many former, principled or allegedly principled, serious Republican lawmakers have. Mike Lee has fallen among the farthest. He says, even the most careful planning by Biden, Schumer, and the Democratic Party can't anticipate developments like this one. And he quote tweets Greta Van Susterson saying, "Wow, big trouble." And it's a copy of the letter by Judge Merchan. And Mike Lee actually went so far as to pin this to his X/Twitter page, right? So he wants this to be the first thing that people see. And again, this man is he was a practicing attorney. He was a solicitor general, I believe, for Utah, and used to be, before Trump, a respected, serious Republican lawmaker. You have Miranda Devine, who is a New York Post contributor, Fox News contributor. She's in the bag for Trump. She says, if this is legit, it should wipe out Trump's conviction. Judge Juan Merchan has alerted Trump's attorneys to a Facebook post by a supposed cousin of a Trump juror who spilled the beans. He had inside info that Trump was about to be convicted. Now, I will want to play this clip here from Pete Hegseth. He's a part of the Fox and Friends B team. What's interesting is he adopted a slightly more skeptical tone than Sean Hannity, Miranda Devine, Mike Huckabee, and even, again, Republican Senator Mike Lee. This is important for the ultimate punchline here.
Fox has not confirmed the commenter's identity. We just know the judge sent out a letter. We don't know if this guy was actually the cousin of a juror. This could easily be a prank.
This could easily be a prank. And the reason that that's important is, again, he went out of his way to clarify that, hey, listen, we should take this with a grain of salt. And indeed, you should, because it turns out it was a prank. So Michael Anderson, the person who made the tweet or made the post on Facebook, says, take it easy. I'm a professional shit poster. Definition: in internet culture, shit posting or trash posting is the act of using an online forum or social media page to post content that is of, quote, aggressively, ironically, and trollishly poor quality. Shit posts are generally intentionally designed to derail discussions or cause the biggest reaction with the least effort. It may even sometimes be orchestrated as part of a coordinated flame war to render a website unusable by its regular visitors. So yes, as best we can tell, this is a joke. This is a prank. Norm Eisen, who is a legal analyst with CNN, he made this thread about it, which I find interesting. He says, it's amazing to me that people would jump to conclusions about this apparent malicious prank message in the court's Facebook page. How do we know it's likely a prank? Thread. Look at the Facebook page of Michael Anderson. They call themselves a professional shit poster. They admitted this was a prank a few minutes ago at the time of Norm Eisen's tweet. They did another shit post on May 20th saying the verdict would be the next day. Obviously, that was false because it didn't happen. The timeline didn't make sense. Note that in the judge's letter, he does not actually admit this person exists, but rather puts the name in quotation marks, as well as pointing out other indicators that this is probably a prank, such as the fact that the post was put in an unrelated thread about another case. Michael Anderson's Facebook page also has a minimal number of posts and no friends, which suggests it's not a genuine page, or at least not the page of a genuine person. Whoever Michael Anderson is, they're probably under investigation right now because making false reports is a crime in New York State. So I guess the title of this morality play could be, quote, from shit poster to wanted poster, the end. So the bottom line is, this goes to show how desperate the GOP and MAGA in general are to downplay or undermine Trump's criminal conviction, that they would uncritically pounce on what appeared to be at the time, and is almost certainly now, an obvious prank, the total forfeiture of critical thinking. And they were boasting about it. And I mean, you had people like Cat Turd, again, Miranda Devine, Fox News contributors, people going out of their way, Greta Van Susterson and other, Mike Lee, a sitting Republican senator, and he wasn't the only Republican elected official to do it. I believe Representative Mike Collins also pounced on it as well. That is how desperate these people are to prop up Trump. We've never seen anything like this in the Republican Party before, right? Before Trump. And certainly we've never seen anything like this in the Democratic Party. People want to talk about how, President Obama changed the Democratic Party and he rallied the Democratic Party. And it's true, right? Especially when he campaigned in 2007. Like it was the closest thing to, a charismatic figurehead. I mean, even more than President Clinton, right? But there was never anything approaching this level of uncritical cultishness coming from the Democratic Party, even at the very highest levels of excitement around Presidents Clinton and Obama. There's something seriously disturbed and disturbing about the modern Republican Party, and this is just yet more proof of it, that they would disgrace and debase themselves over something this stupid. Weird stuff, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments.